This presentation will help you complete Writing 293 successfully. The first slide shows you your weekly agenda, and these are suggested times. It would make sense to start on Monday, read the assignments, and take notes. You can see what the assignments are in the chart in the syllabus. They're also in this presentation, and a third way is to click on Content and then click on week 1, week 2. The third way, by clicking on Content, is a way that has perhaps the most potential for you because there's live links. When you click on the reading assignments, it takes you right to the unit, for example. Now, Thursday is the deadline for the original discussion post. There's only one graded discussion post each week. And Saturday is the deadline for the follow-up discussion post. Now, if occasionally you have an emergency, as long as you're posting within the week and you send me an email explaining that you need to submit your post by Sunday, that'll be fine. But we don't want to carry over a discussion, so always post in the current week. Sunday is the due date for the major writing assignment. So this is your schedule, and it's the due dates. Of course, you can always do work and submit it earlier than the due date. This is perhaps the most important slide in this presentation, and it's the only place in the course where you see everything visually to help you divide your time, to allocate your time. Look at the pie chart on the right side of the screen. Notice that 55% of your grade is in the major project, the research report. It's divided into 20% for the research proposal, where you suggest your topic and how you will go about setting up the research project. And 35% is the research project, the report itself. Now, the other area in here, the 85%, is made up of 20% for your description instructions memo and 10% for your resume. Looking at the left side of the screen, you can see these numbers do add up to the 85%. Now, the ungraded rough drafts in weeks 1, 3, 5, and 7 help you earn points for that 85%. That is the major writing assignments. In other words, you have 2 weeks to work on each major assignment, and at the end of week 1, the beginning of week 2, for example, for the memo, you'll have my feedback to help you guide you in revising the assignment. There is a 5% of the grade that's for 2 quizzes. Every Writing 293 student gets the same information about academic integrity and APA in these modules that are for the course material for the first 4 weeks. We also have a discussion in week 2 about reviewing the APA guidelines, but this 5% is a departmental requirement. And that brings us to the 90% of the grade. That last 10% is participation. And you have 15 posts, 14 in the first 7 weeks and just 1 in week 8. That accounts for the remaining 10% of the course grade. So think about it. Don't spend so much time on the weekly discussions that you let the other, particularly the other 85% suffer. And that is in 55% research project, 10% resume, 20% description instructions memo. This is the important part of this assignment, of this presentation, that you understand writing the discussion posts all semester leads to only 10% of the grade. Focus on the major writing assignments. Of course, you want to have the intelligent discussion. That's what makes the course a high quality course. But as far as your grade, don't slip up and spend too much time on writing discussion posts and let your major assignments suffer. Now, the next slides merely take you through the writing assignments and the reading assignments. You can see this same information by clicking on the Content tab at the top of the screen and then looking for the week. There's a week 0, week 1, week 2. When you click on the week, you go to a list of statements, and they're live links that take you right to the course. If it says submit the description instructions memo and you click on that, you're going to see the assignment sheet for it. You can see what you're doing the first week, units 1, 9, and 10. Read Me First, Introduction to Technical Writing. The Study Academic Integrity and APA material, that is in every week for weeks 1 through 4. And there's a reminder to post for the week 1 discussion, and then a reminder to submit your draft, your rough draft. Always submit the rough drafts by the due date, because we don't work with them after that due date. After that, you would just work with the tutors at the Effective Writing Center instead of with me, because I have to turn the work around quickly and I have to treat all students alike. So one thing you should remember is get your drafts in before the deadline. As much as you have done, give it to me for review. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be complete, but it has to be in before midnight. And then week 2, you can see you're still working on your description instructions memo. This time around, it's the final version. There is a late penalty, so of course you want to get your work in on time. If there's some extenuating circumstance, you can send me an email about it, but you shouldn't have extenuating circumstances every week. Week 3, we switched to a different project. That's the research report proposal, just the draft. And you can see you're reading units 2 and 4. You also continue to have your academic integrity and APA material, but this time you take a quiz on it, and we have a discussion that goes along with the APA because we're talking about plagiarism. Week 4, you finish up the research proposal, you submit it on time, and you're also taking that APA quiz, that departmental requirement. Week 5, you actually start the research report. The reading assignments will help you with that. It's a draft week, so you have to meet that deadline, obviously. Week 6, you only have 1 chapter to read, but you have a lot of work to do on the research report. Remember, it's worth 35%. So our discussion is all about revising it. You can work with the other students. And remember to send it in on time, or write me an email if you need if there's some crucial reason why you can't get it in on time. The resume is for weeks 7 and 8. Of course, as usual, it's a draft. Notice when I click on weeks 8, you are reading the same assignment. There's only 1 chapter about employment in our text for the course. So it makes it a little easier because you're finishing up projects in all your courses, and you have it a little bit easier so that you don't have new material to study. You post only once. Again, it's a little easier for you, but the deadline is Thursday. It's Thursday because the course ends on Sunday, and then within a certain number of hours, I have to have the grades turned in. So you can see why I want a Thursday deadline. I collect all the material, I can grade it, I can check on people who think they've submitted it, but maybe they clicked on it incorrectly or something. It gives me a little bit of time to work with students, but meet that deadline. Don't think in terms of Sunday in week 8, think in terms of Thursday. And the 2 weekly discussion posts, 1 through 7, you have 14 posts. Week 8, you only have 1, so that adds up to 15, and that's only 10% of the grade. So as I started out in the beginning saying, you need to allocate your time toward the major writing assignments. Original posts by Thursday, follow-up posts by Saturday. If you need a special reason to submit it by Sunday, you can email me for approval. You shouldn't be doing this every week, but if there's an emergency, as long as it's posted in the correct week. We don't go back to a different discussion and we don't move forward. We only deal with the current week, and that's an ironclad rule because it gets much too confusing otherwise. Now, there is a reading highlights discussion every week in all 8 weeks. If you post 7 weekly posts, 1 in each week, and you have to miss a weekly discussion, maybe because you're ill or you're out of the country, something like that, this is your insurance policy. You don't need to lose points on it. And we end up with just a reminder that whenever you have questions, please make sure that you'll write an email or you call, or you might post it in the questions forum. But make sure you never feel like I'm going to be too busy or you can't call on Sunday or a holiday. You're calling my cell phone number. If for some reason I can't pick up the phone right at that moment, I will never ignore your question. So if an email or a call doesn't get a response, please just email or call again and label it second request. I frankly don't get any of that. I believe I will get your phone call or your email the first time, but don't ever hesitate. If you have a question, I want to be sure you get an answer. Good luck with the course.